Hello people of BookTube, Megan here, and time for another 7 on Sunday video. For those who don't know, 7 on Sunday is a Goodreads group started by J Sullivan here on BookTube. Each Sunday there is a new prompt. Link to the Goodreads group is going to be posted down in the description. So, this week's prompt is comfort reads. So, for my list, these are books and series that are either comfort reads because I read them during a difficult time in my life and they helped me, gave me a good form of escape, or they just make me happy and provide me with all that serotonin. And can I just say, coming up with this list was much harder than I thought it would be. And I feel a little guilty about this. I was trying to pick series that I haven't mentioned on 7 on Sundays yet, or on my channel a lot in general, but that didn't happen. Most of the books that are comfort reads to me are very widely known, or most of them are widely known and talked about. There might be one or two that aren't. So, without further ado, let's just get into this list. And this is just kind of a current list. I'm sure this list would have looked very different like 5 years ago, much like how this list will probably look different even like a year from now. Anyway, let's just jump right into this list. First is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This whole series is just kind of like a big comfort read to me. Like, I loved it when I first started reading it, when the first book was coming out. Absolutely loved it. But when I was rereading the whole series in preparation for A Court of Silver Flames, I just realized how much this series has become to mean to me. I found myself getting much more emotional over certain parts, especially the parts dealing with like mental health and recovery and all that. And when reading A Court of Silver Flames, I think I mentioned in my review, I did have to put the book down at certain parts to process and to keep myself from bawling my eyes out. So yeah, just seeing these characters that I've grown very attached to go through these emotional ordeals, dealing with their traumas, dealing with their pasts, and recovering was comforting, if not like very emotional. So yeah, it is surprisingly become a comfort read for me. And also just, I adore these characters so much. It makes me happy when I read about them. Even aside from like the mental health, recovery, all that. Aside from that, I do really love these characters and I love reading about them. It has become like a very big happy place for me, this world that Sarah J. Maas has made. The second one is one that I really need to reread. It is the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. This series also, I believe, has 2 spin-offs, which I have yet to read, but I am very looking forward to reading them. This is a series that provided me great comfort when I was going through chemotherapy and recovery and just trying to adjust to normal life again back when I was a teenager. It provided me with a very much needed escape, and also it's a series my mom bought for me, or a series my mom introduced me to, I should say. So it has a special place in my heart because of both of those. And just even as an adult, like, it has been almost 15 years since I first learned about this series, and even now, just remembering it, and just even thinking of picking the first one up again to reread, brings me great joy, great comfort. I love that world, I love those characters, I adore those characters so much, and just opening those pages feels almost like home. So, comfort read number 2. So, for the third on this list, it's not just the book series that bring me great comfort, it is the fandom as a whole and stuff the fandom has produced. It is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. I picked up this series, or at least the first book in the series, in late middle, early high school. I didn't really sit down to finish it until like near the end of high school, but I love this series. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Just how the world has expanded since The Lightning Thief is just fantastic. The fandom, for the most part, I love. The Percy Jackson musical, I love. Just everything in this, everything kind of involving Percy Jackson, excluding the movies, is fantastic. Great comfort to me. I just really love being able to escape into that series, and I am also very much due for a reread for that. It brings me all the serotonin, it brings me all the comfort, it helps me get away from adult life for a little bit, and it's just fun to revisit. And it's one of those series, much like all the series on this list, I just keep coming back to again and again. Fourth on this list are the Ryra books by Michael J Sullivan. Um, for those who don't know, I've mentioned it, I feel, often on my channel. The Ryra books are some of my favorite books of all time. It's easily like top 3, if not number 1. Like, these books are easily like my favorites of all time. Just, I love these characters, I love this world. I absolutely love being able to just sit down and just immerse myself in these books, in this world, in this universe. And the fact that the whole Ryra universe is expanding just gives me all the serotonin and it gives me all the joy. And also the fact that one of my best friends introduced me to this series, that kind of adds that extra layer for me, because when I look at these books, she is also one of the first things I think when I look at these books. I think best friend. And that brings me great joy and comfort, being able to think of one of my friends and being able to like connect them to this book. So, you know, get that little extra boost of serotonin, being able to think about one of my favorite people on top of reading one of my favorite books. Number 5 is the Iron Fae series by Julie Kagula. Just, I don't know, I just always felt really drawn to these books. I love these books. This world of Iron Fae is fantastic. It brings me much joy. And it's a series I keep coming back to. And that was even before the new series started earlier this year, which I loved it. I can't wait to read more. And with the Iron Raven being released earlier this year, it makes me all the happier that this world is being revived. It's being revived, it's being expanded, and just being able to see more of these characters that I grew really attached to, being able to come back, see more of them, see what they've been up to, and it brought me all the joy, all the serotonin. And just honestly, when I picked up the Iron Raven back on release day, I felt happier than I had in a good while, at least a few months. So yeah, it's a major comfort read for me. Number 6 on this list comes with a little asterisk. It is the Maximum Ride series, but only the first 3. Only the first 3 Maximum Ride books. Everything after that is just meh. Any of the books after that go from, alright, that was kind of meh, to, okay, it was okay, to, oh my god, that book pisses me off so much. The first 3 books I loved. They meant a lot to me. They were introduced to me by my mom when I was in the middle of cancer treatment. Just something clicked in her head and it's like, I think you might like this, Megan. This feels like it's something right up your alley. She had already owned the first 2 books, gave them to me because she loves James Patterson. So she had already read them. She's like, I think you might like this. It might be up your alley. Gave me the first one, The Angel Experiment, and I fell in love with the series. And while I was still going through treatment, I believe I was going through treatment. If I wasn't still actively going through treatment, then I was near the end of it when book number 3 came out, Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports. And I distinctly remember just plopping down on the couch and binging that whole book in one sitting. Like, I only moved from that spot for a snack break and bathroom breaks. And even those, I'm just like, no, just one more page, one more page, one more page. Those 3 books brought me so much joy and gave me a great escape. I love these characters, they were fun, and it was just, it brought me great joy. So this last one, number 7, it took me a little while to think. I was actually scrolling through my read shelf on Goodreads to try and figure out, like, okay, what else is a comfort read? Why am I blanking on something? And then it hit me. The Once Upon a Con books by Ashley Poston. I love these books. They bring me so much joy. So much joy. And also, all the feels. For those who don't know, there were parts in Geekerella as well as Bookish and the Beast that made me emotional, made me teary. In Geekerella, there were parts that made me mad on the main character's behalf. And just, these books bring me so much joy. And the fact that I was hesitant to pick this up because I don't really like contemporary books. I'm more like my urban fantasy sort of stuff. You know, I like my fantasy stuff, I like my paranormal stuff. I don't really read stuff that's too rooted in reality because I read to escape. But these books just hooked me in from the start. From when I started reading Geekerella, I was just dragged in, and they've become a major comfort read to me, and just, God, I love them so much. And just the idea of whenever I pick them up, being filled with so much joy and comfort and excitement to revisit these characters and revisit this world, I can never get over that feeling. And yeah, those are my current 7 comfort reads. Though technically I can't really say there's 7 since like all of them are series, but whatever. Whatever. So yeah, don't really have much more else to say, so that is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.